2017 in the bag for Team Trilogy. I switched up a lot of stuff. I still carry the same bag, still carry a Dynamic Disc Breast Cancer Edition Ranger bag. So let's just start it off. I carry 3 discs in the top right now. They're just sort of utility discs. I have a Trident. It's specific for wooded courses. There's a hole at my home course in Silver Springs that is like a 90-degree angle, and the only thing that you can do on that hole really is to throw like a really hard flick and try to get the skip off the ground to get around the corner. So here's an Opto Trident. Just mainly, like I said, it's just that purpose for that flick to get around the corner. I have a TP tournament plastic shield. I like using this also in wooded courses. Just getting straight down really tight wooded fairways that a lot of these courses in Florida seem to have, where it's like maybe a minimum of 150, 200 feet, and it's just trees almost the entire way. If you get a kick off a tree with a putter, it usually doesn't go too far, and it's a good way to save some strokes during a tournament. The third thing I have in the top that is really close to making my bag, you can see the South of 64 stamp there, is Ice Sheriff. I really like the Sheriff. I'm pretty sure it's going to probably take out my Trespass in my bag. They just about do the same thing. This goes a little bit longer for me. It will hold the same lines. It goes dead straight for me with a little fade at the end to the left, me being, of course, right-hand backhand. Now, to in my bag, this is all the stuff that's changed from last year when I joined Team Trilogy. The first thing is a Dymax Felon specifically for flicks. Again, a lot of these courses in Florida are wooded. It's a mixture of wooded and open holes. So, gotta have it for flicks. I learned to flick a little bit last year and got it more into it this year and practiced a lot more, and so there's a lot more discs that I put in my bag that I can flick now, and it's helped my game out greatly. I carry 3 escapes. The first, they're all different levels of beat-in. This is the one that I've had the longest. It's lucid. It's not as gummy as the Fusion or the Fluid that I have, but this one's the most beat-in. I have it for turnover lines, big Anheuser lines, and powered down straight shots for in the woods when I don't have that flick option and it might be 300 or so in the woods. I'm pulling out this escape. Next I have the pink Fusion escape. This one I would say is probably like a 7 out of 10. It's not as beat as that other one is, and when I'm in between and have like an open field shot with woods at the end, this is the escape that's coming out. And then just for any general shot that I'm usually throwing the escape for, this is what I'm throwing a Fluid escape. This is my newest escape in my bag. I lost my other Fluid escape Christmas when I went up north and played in the snow and lost in the creek. But that's what I use this one for. Next, I carry 2 Convicts. One's beat in and one's new, and they're both different plastics. This one's in Lucid, this one is the Dymax. I love these. They're a great complement to the escape. Just like the escape, it'll go dead straight, but these are going to come out for me instead of just holding that line the entire way and then maybe just finishing straight into the ground or crashing in the ground with little to no skip. I can count on these to get around corners and hold the line that I put it on. It holds nice anti-lines, and I can get a good anti-skip with it, and holds nice hyzer lines, and you can get that skip with it. So anytime I'm playing wooded holes or open holes that I just need that slight finish, and it might not be enough for a distance driver, I'm pulling out the Convict. I can see why Paige likes it so much. And like I said, I have this one too, same thing. The difference is I probably use that blue one in the woods more, and this one's the open shot more. Thief, I've always had this in my bag. I've hit 2 aces with this disc. It'll probably always stay in my bag. Now that I have a bigger arm, it's a big S-line disc for me. I can just throw it straight up on a hyzer angle. It's going to flip straight up, ride really to the right, and then will almost always come out to the left. If I just throw it flat, it's going to go right almost every time. It's not enough for like a big Anheuser disc, but if I need to just put some power into an Anheuser shot, I can count on this thief to do it. It's probably beaten enough that I could take it out and put in one of my replacements, but I just love this disc way too much to take it out, and no, I'm not hanging it on the wall. I carry 3 mid-ranges, Compass, Saki Bomb Edition obviously. This is my mid-range I'm pulling out. If I need to finish a little bit to the right, it goes straight and to the right. It's not really my driving mid-range. This is just pretty much specifically for upshots for me. My driving mid-range, hit 1 ace with it last year in November, is Dimax Claymore. Absolutely love this thing. It's dead straight. There's no left or right fade on it unless you're putting that line on it, and it just goes straight for me, hits the ground. Again, use it in those wooded shots or some of the subpar holes where it's like 150 to 200 that I'm not confident in. This, like my escape, I'm pulling this out just to play safe. I also use it a lot in rain rounds when stuff starts getting slick for whatever reason. I put one of those dirt bags on top of this, and it just gets really sticky and grippy, and can count on it to still have that straight effect, and it doesn't get all slick like some of my other plastic does. Third mid-range is a Justice. This is just specifically get out of trouble disc. When I'm behind stuff, I use it for flicks. I've used it for rollers before. I've used it for overhand, both tomahawk and thumbers, just to get in and out of trouble. When I'm in a tough spot, this is probably the disc that I'm reaching for in my bag. Now to all of my distance drivers. The first two I was talking about flicking earlier. I have a GBO competition stamp Defender from 2016. I absolutely love this disc. The feel of it is great. It holds great for those flick lines. I can count on it to dump hard. Great anti-skips. Also throw it for forehand rollers. Can get great distance out of it. Just a great utility disc. Great again for the wooded courses and those mixtures of courses that we have here in Florida. Next, Team Trilogy stamp Enforcer. This is specifically just my go-to flick disc if I'm out in the open and I, for whatever reason, don't think I can get the backhand, or there's some crazy OB like I just had in this tournament this weekend. I'm pulling out this, and I don't have a huge flick, but I can usually get it between 2 and 250 and can count on it to get out there and get the skip, especially when those baskets are in those right-hand positions and you got crazy OB to deal with. I also like using this for just those really tight, swooping flick lines that are in these wooded courses. Just put the disc right down, flick it up there, and I know it's going to dump out because of how overstable this disc is. It's a great disc. Carry a Lucid Renegade. If it's not windy out and I need to tear into something to get distance, this is one of like 3 discs in my bag that I can count to get me to like that 400 mark. Great disc. I throw it on hyzer, flips right up. Don't have to count on it going left too much, and it'll dump out for me. Great disc, but can only use it when it's not too windy out. The next 3 are all my like really flippy out and open discs. When I play at golf courses and stuff like that, these are the discs that I'm throwing. Westside disc, Jeff Ash dyed, King in tournament plastic. Love it. This is the most overstable out of my Kings, and again, it's just a big bombing crush disc, but it got to give it a lot of room to work because it's going to flip up. I know it's going to go right. I also know it's going to come out, but if there's not a lot of room to work with, I'm probably not pulling out this disc. I have a beaten Westside King in the VIP plastic. This one I've had probably the longest. and it's pretty much just the anhyzer disc now and my roller disc. I know when I turn it over and it hits the ground, it'll stand up and I can get a good roller out of it. Don't really use it that much. It's just a utility disc at this point in my bag, but that's what it's in there for. The third disc in my 3 understable distance drivers is a Queen. This was new to my bag this year. I love it for those giant turnover shots when I play at golf courses or in fields, and you just have to go straight and throw right. I don't have enough on my flick to get it that far, so I can throw the Queen dead straight and count that's going to finish right every single time. Not really a great distance driver for me. If I throw it on hyzer, it's still flipping up and it's still going to turn all the way over. So it's just a giant anhyzer disc for me. It's way too much for the woods. I'm getting anywhere between, I would say, 325 and 350 with giant anhyzers with this disc. One of my favorite discs that I have a backup, and then this is my main one that I throw, Team Trilogy, is a Destiny. I can't say enough about this disc. Besides my Renegade, said when that was windy, this will hold for me a little bit in the wind, and it needs a lot of room to work regardless. If I have the room to make it work and I need something bigger than my Kings, if I just need an all-out bomb on something that's a par 4 or par 5, this has saved me tons of strokes in tournaments by getting a great crush off the tee and then having to throw a moderately hard upshot with either mid-range or one of my fairways to get birds, and I hit my first eagle with this. This is just a giant bomber. I was just talking about how that Sheriff would probably replace my Trespass. Got the Trespass soon after I did my in the bag video for joining Team Trilogy. I don't really remember what it bumped out, but this just, I put it in my bag because it just goes dead straight and I can count on it to finish left. And to me, this is just like a bigger brother of the Convict. So you have that fairway driver. I know it's going to go straight and go to the left for me. If I need something to do the same thing, but I need it in a distance driver, a little more distance or whatever, maybe a little more skip, the Trespass is coming out, but the Sheriff will do the same thing, so that I'm pretty sure it might get replaced. The last 2 in my bag besides putters that I carry are Giants. I have one of the sweet limited edition stamped Giants and then just one of the regular VIP Giants. I love both these discs. When I have to throw over water shots or giant air shots where you might be throwing over some of the ravines and gullies that I've played. We have some really weird courses, and in Florida, I know there's elevation everywhere else in the U.S., but Florida's flat for the most part, so when elevation comes into play, I'm usually pulling out a giant. We have a home course that has like these giant retention ponds, and when you throw over them, there's always these air bounces, and the giant will hold lines better for me than like a Trespass. It's just a little bit more overstable. Probably could fill that same notch, but for whatever reason, these have always got me across it safe and lined me up great for my next shot. The last 2 things in my bag I have for you guys, I definitely switched out my putters from last year. My game improved tenfold. Is I putt with hard shields. Absolutely love the shield. Can't say enough about it. As soon as I went from Judges to a shield, I like an overstable putter. The Judge, just anytime I have like a laser putt, and anytime I was running it with the Judge, I was finding myself like 40, 50 feet behind the basket, just because it's a great disc, and I like it as a driving putter, but it just wants to hold that line the entire way, where these, I know I can put the power that I put on my putts, and it will drop and fade out. It just seems to be what this shield does. We have some really hot summers in Florida, which is why I use the hard mostly year-round. When we do get those subpar cold days, and when I say cold, it's only like 60, 50. I'm from New York, and when I've played up there in the snow, I'm using like soft, because that gets as hard as these. And down here, when we have those 60 winter days, I'm using medium. So I have soft, medium, and hard, all in BT for the shield, and I had that one that I showed you that I do use occasionally for tunnel shots and whatnot, but this has saved me so many strokes. I've seen my PGA rating go up because of this disc. Absolutely love it. Can't recommend it enough. Hope you guys like my in the bag for 2017. Love being a part of Team Trilogy. Hope you enjoy the video.